Break with Reality, Part 10. Drinks finished, the troop emerged from the tavern, blinking in the pale light of early Saturday morning Aberdeen. The harbour was just beginning to bustle now, the relentless passage of oil support services slowly bursting into life. They walked along the harbour front road, passing other less salubrious establishments en route before crossing over to the quayside. Leading the way, Johan escorted them to an orange-coloured standby vessel, smaller than most of the other stand supply ships moored there. He beckoned them onto the gangway and the party boarded the ship. "Oh, for fuck's sake!" It was Laurie. The four men turned to see what was wrong. "Fucking heel's stuck in this." "Hang on," said Keir, turning back to save the damsel. "Take your foot right out," he said, placing a hand just below her shin. Laurie did so, enjoying an unexpected flutter in her belly at the feeling of Keir's hand on her ankle. She positioned Beau's hands on his broad back as he leaned over to pull the now free stiletto out of the gap between the metal slats. He gave an almighty tug, and the shoe came away, leaving the heel in place. The inertia when it came loose caused a backwards fall for Keir, with Laurie tumbling on top of him. They lay there for a few seconds, giggling drunkenly until Dougal and Gustav helped them up. "Here's your rest here," said Keir, laughing as he handed the remains of the shoe back to Laurie. "You fucker," she said to Keir, "you owe me a stiletto." "I'll give you one of mine," said Keir, with a wink. Through her laughter and state of inebriation, she managed to put what was left of the shoe back on and hobbled unevenly along the rest of the gangway, handing Keir's shoulder for assistance. Once she was aboard, Laurie decided it might be easier to walk in her stocking soles rather than look like someone from Notre Dame, and took the inappropriate footwear off completely. They crossed a small deck and soon were in the accommodation part, heading down the narrow stairway to what Dougal took to be the crew's mess. The place was empty, apart from one portly man in a dirty orange boiler suit, asleep with his chin in his chest and a corn on a table at the corner. Gustav showed him to a table big enough for five. "Who's sleeping, beauty?" whispered Laurie, pointing at the man in the corner. "Ah, that is Rocco," said Gustav. "He is a chief engineer." "We'll have to be quiet then," asked Keir. "Didn't want to wake the guy up, do we?" "Nah, he will not wake up. He sleeps through atomic bomb." "Snores like an atomic bomb too," laughed Johan. "He is quite deaf," said Gustav, pointing at his own ears, "working with the engines." Bang on time, a loud clattering sound came from a brightly lit door behind the counter at the other side of the room. Someone dropping a metal pan, or pans of some sort. There wasn't so much as a flinch from Rocco. "Okay guys, help yourselves." Johan raised an arm, presenting them with a buffet-style breakfast bar consisting of racks of warm, stainless-lidded containers. A short man with a thin, dark moustache, whom Dougal took to be the ship's cook, appeared from the galley and stood behind the buffet, arms folded, staring at them with narrowed eyes. He scowled and then turned and barked something unintelligible in a gruff French accent to Johan, who went behind the counter, stood eyeball to eyeball with the man, and barked something back in his face. The cook then spat a reply that, even if, like a guess, you couldn't understand a word they were saying, obviously contained not a small amount of swearing and consternation. The cook, having enough of the confrontation with Johan, threw his hands in the air in apparent exasperation before turning and pulling off his apron, which he threw to one side. He stormed away, disappearing through the back, cursing under his breath. "Wait, come," beckoned Johan, who seemed totally unconcerned with his and the cook's heated altercation. Keir, Laurie and Dougal exchanged glances with each other to see who would rise first. Keir took the lead and approached the buffet, followed by Laurie, then Dougal. Grabbing a plate each, they filed along the brightly lit food counter. Keir opened the first container, bending his head over it. He was hit with a strong fishy smell, and looking into the receptacle revealed copious amounts of roll mop herring. "This is raw herring, pickled with onions, rolled up and stitched with a cocktail stick to keep its shape." Keir and Dougal looked at each other, and Dougal began to wonder if a Norwegian breakfast was such a good idea after all. The second pan contained salmon, better, but still not what they were used to for a morning start-up. The third was almost empty, just a few slices of a white meat and a thin watery juice at the bottom. "So, what do you think this is? Pork?" asked Dougal as Keir leaned over, inhaling deeply. "Yeah," Keir's nose wrinkled. "Nah, it doesn't smell like pork. Chicken, maybe?" He moved over, allowing Dougal to smell the bain-marie. "Well, if that's chicken, it's off," Dougal whispered. "Better get a miss, I reckon." The cook reappeared from the galley with a meat cleaver in one hand. As soon as he noticed Dougal and Keir discussing the questionable contents, he darted over, picked up a stainless lead and crashed it down in the container with the dodgy meat in it, missing Keir's fingers by millimetres. "This not for you," he growled, waving a finger. "Captain only." The hungry cook looked like he was ready to murder both Dougal and Keir with a stare alone. "Ah, right," said Keir, staring straight back at the stocky chef, giving what he hoped was as good as he got. "Sorry, mate, smells like shit. He's welcome to it." The cook held Keir's gaze for a moment, eyelids twitching in rage. "Tch!" snorted the volatile Frenchman, marching away again. Dougal and Keir glanced at each other, shrugged, and then continued looking at the buffet pans. Thankfully, the fourth container had bacon in it, and, feeling slightly relieved, they were happy to find some of the constituents of a more traditional British breakfast. As well as the bacon, Keir and Dougal helped themselves to sausages, tomatoes and scrambled eggs. No mushrooms or beans though, so they just piled what was available higher on their plates. "Oh, where'd you get that?" Keir asked, pointing at some toast on Laurie's plate. "Over there," she said, indicating a toaster on the countertop adjacent. "Want some?" "I'll say," Keir nodded at her with a cheeky smile, and she put 2 slices of bread in for him. "Thank you, ma'am," he said, tipping an imaginary hat. "You're welcome, sir. Enjoy," she said with a tiny curtsy. They returned to the table, in the middle of which Gustav had placed a large pot of coffee. The 5 of them tore into the delicious hearty meal with gusto. "Can't believe you're having fish for breakfast though," said Keir, looking at both Gustav and Johann's plate in disdain. "Kippers of fish though," said Laurie. "Surely you've had them for breakfast before." "Laurie, there's only one fishy thing I like first thing in the morning," said Keir with an eyebrow raised in her direction. "Oh my," she said, choking a bit, laughing at his reply. At that point, heavy footsteps coming down a staircase could be heard from an open door at the far side of the mess room. Both Gustav and Johann stopped eating and looked up to see who was coming in. They stared back at their plates as a tall, heavy-built man in his late 60s appeared at the doorway. He swivelled his grey-haired head towards the table of friends and shook it slowly, pursing his lips. The cook had reappeared and caught the big guy's eye, mirroring his pert expression with arms folded, nodding his head in agreement as if to concur with the old man's obvious contempt. "Who's that?" whispered Laurie. "Captain LaRue," came Johann's own barely audible reply. The intimidating figure strolled over to the breakfast bar, picked up a plate and opened the container with the dodgy meat. He selected a few pieces with a pair of tongs, laid them neatly on his plate and then leaned over to talk to the cook. Both men whispered to each other, looking over conspiratorially at the group of friends eating at the table whilst doing so. LaRue then ambled back to the door he came in, staring at the table continuously until he disappeared, clumping his way back up the stairs. "Fuck me, you didn't look very happy," said Keir. "You sure it's okay for us to be here?" said Dougal. Yes, said Johann, it's just his way." "You are our guests," said Gustav, "so let us eat up." And eat up they did. "Well, this is good," exclaimed Johann, cleaning up his fishy plate with a final piece of bread and popping it into his mouth. "Yeah," agrees Gustav, "we hope you like." Dougal mumbled, nodding, mouth still partially filled with food. "Thanks, boys." "No problem. Now, gentlemen and lady, you want to come and have some drink?" Johann thumbed behind him through the mess room door. Dougal looked over at Keir, finishing the last of his coffee. "Och, aye," said Keir, looking at a non-existent watch. "The sun has surely gone past the yardarm, and I'm confident we can manage a wee livener." The two men stood in searing, relentless sunshine on the moonscape of the tiny barren island, staring at the flat surface of a waist-high rock that lay between them. "You must go first," said the first slightly stockier of the two, pointing at what lay on the rock with a machete that had been thrown at them by the pirates as they made their escape. It had lodged itself in the thigh of the first officer and was the only thing they'd managed to salvage from the wreckage of the life raft. "You prepared it. You must taste it first," argued the taller man. The short man faced up to him. "You are the favourite senior crew member. You make the decisions, you take the consequences, you taste first," he growled, raising the machete till it almost touched the taller man's lip. The captain seemed to acquiesce, and with his fingertips gingerly picked up one of the thin strips of meat laid out on the hot stone top. He folded it into his mouth, chewed for a few seconds, swallowed, but instantly retched, regurgitating what had been in his throat. He held it in his mouth and attempted to swallow again. Successfully this time. He turned quickly and grabbed the jetsam plastic bottle base filled with rainwater they'd collected and gulped the mouthful. "Hey, easy mon ami," said his companion, arm thrusting across, grabbing the flimsy makeshift cup from the captain's hands. "We do not have much left." LaRue gasped, gagging once again, but managing to keep food down for now. It was the cook's turn. Captain LaRue sat in his office, chewing on his breakfast, testing the sharpness of the old machete with the edge of his thumb. He sighed. The memory of that time was still vivid. The pain was always there, gnawing away at the back of his brain like a tiny grub chewing its way tenaciously through his consciousness, torturing him as it had done for the past 20 years or so. Things had gone too far. Letting that pair of fools in, and it had been a huge mistake. It was time to end it, once and for all.